guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. So today we are taking a look at the tier 7 Roman Javelins. I think these are the Augustan Skirmishers.
Javelins!
So yeah, as from my previous videos, I finally finished off the tier 6s and got onto these guys. Who, yeah, pretty good. I am quite enjoying them. The only one thing to note since sort of the previous videos is we have had patch 3.1.3 came out, which came out on the 24th. And that gave an across the board 8% nerf to weapon damage on all Javelin units, basically. So that meant the missile weapon damage has been reduced. It is kind of noticeable on the battlefield. So that's a little bit of a shame. It's not quite as powerful as they once were before, although maybe they were a little bit too powerful at times. But yeah, they don't quite have that same sort of volley damage as they used to, particularly when you're throwing into the back of enemy units, things like that. But they still do a lot of damage. Obviously I'm running them with two consumables. Obviously the Caltrop, which is probably the greatest consumable ever, stops cavalry charges, that sort of thing. And I'm just running them with the Fletcher, which just gives that base increase to armor penetration and weapon damage, particularly since we've had the weapon damage removed. It's kind of a good thing. Some people like to run with things like the heavy flaming javelins because they do increase damage at short range, which is great for like the throwing to the rear of Romans, things like that. But I just don't think it's really worth it. For me, I'm quite happy with the, sort of that continual passive buff that's sort of working behind the scenes. So I haven't got them fully upgraded yet, as all I've got is tuned Augustan Javelins, which obviously gives an increase to reload time and armor piercing. There is a possible different upgrade down here, which gives a slight increase to damage and range, but quite a decrease in terms of armor penetration, and you no longer get that plus 10% reload time, bonus. So for me, I just don't think that's a worthwhile upgrade. I think the only purpose to take that is the fact that that flawless Augustan Javelin comes into play in the next tier, so you might as well have it for that. We have the reinforced overshield. I'll certainly be going for that for the increased missile block, because now these guys get a raised shield ability, which you didn't get in any of the others, and that gives that plus 30% base missile block chance, which when you combined with sort of a reasonable missile block chance of 32, which is going to go up to 38 once we have the reinforced double shield, then you're sort of dealing with sort of 68. You actually stand a reasonable chance of reducing missile fire when facing archers frontally, obviously. It's pretty good. And of course it means these units hold their own in melee combat at least semi-decently. They don't do any damage necessarily to enemy cavalry, things like that, but they don't get cut down quite as easily as archers do, because they have the shields and they have the reasonably good body armor. We get a plus 16 once we get down to the sort of heavier armor down towards the bottom. So yes, let's basically get these guys into a battle and see how we get on with them. So, loading into the Battle of Thermopylae. It looks like we've got pretty much top tier. Obviously with the matchmaking only down to tier 6s. Where am I going to go? I'll spawn in the middle here, see where everyone else feels like placing themselves. Initially I might skirt around the edge of this forest sort of here, particularly if we're going to get a bit of infantry support. Looks like there's a bit of a party here which may be pushing through the centre maybe. So we'll sort of just see what we get and play it by ear, I think. Got to be careful, obviously we have cavalry on our team, so it's more than likely the enemy has cavalry on their team as well.
Claim the enemy base or kill them all!
So let's get moving. Let's get the activated.
Weaklings!
Doesn't look like the friendly infantry are really moving up at all at the moment. And these are basically the only support I have with me. Very little infantry in the game.
Javelins!
It looks like these friendly barbarians are going straight for the capture point to see, so we get observation, which is obviously a good thing. See if anything else there, if nothing else. And if we capture this capture point, we'll get visibility over this whole forest, so that'll be good. Assuming they're actually going to go into the flag. Please go into the flag. Or not.
Javelins!
Okay.
Quickly!
Oh, they're going to go in. So,
we have drawn first blood.
Which looks like it's completely on its own, which just seems like madness. We know that our some enemy barbarian warriors in this forest. We can kill quite efficiently. It's just whether they are bringing any support with them. Hopefully our friendly barbarians realise that there's stakes, which looks like they did. So we're going to start moving through this forest. Let's have a quick whip and start to get into the range of the back of the barbarian warriors. Got to watch out for those enemy archers we just saw. But look at the colossal damage output, particularly against the tier 5. I don't know why this tier 5 is actually here. He's advanced at this point, so I don't know if he's since gone AFK. or just doesn't realise. I'm not entirely sure, but we shall make hay, as they say, while he's AFK. It's certainly an easy way to farm a few points, as long as we're not secretly being backed by cavalry. Let's go for ray shields. Obviously, we're taking fire from the enemy arrows. Okay, I think it's time probably to get out of dodge. Ooh, we've got to be careful because we have just taken nuke damage, look. And, ooh, and we're being dogged. Okay, let's just get back to friendly infantry if we can. We've got trouble coming in the form of these war dogs. Okay, friendly infantry seems to turn up. Let's see if we can get a volley off maybe.
We are firing on our allies.
Not really. Okay, ceasefire. Oh, I just threw them all into the back of the elephant. That wasn't so good, was it? Okay, we've got enemy elephants coming out of the forest. There's something I would do something about if I could. These, right, let's try and get grouped together a little bit so at least forming some sort of cohesive unit. Looks like these elephants don't really want to be sticking around though by the looks of things. No, they are sort of retreating straight back to allied units. Our two teams of archers are having a bit of an archer off. So let's run into the forest. Particularly these elephants are just sort of skirting around that way. Maybe we can get some shots on these handlers. Let's whip and dash ourselves, get a little bit of speed. We can turn off, of course, our shield. Oops, I'm running into enemy units. Obviously, unfortunately, we no longer have a hurl ability open to us. I know I'm blobbing up. I'm just trying to get into range of these archers if I can. Nope, it doesn't seem like I can. So, ooh, enemy artillery. Let's get the hell out of there.
50 lashes.
I don't want to be staying around to fight that. Because look at the lag it causes us, which is the stun, which is that 50% movement speed negative modifier. It means our troops just can't get out of the situation until we can try and break range on the enemy units. Looks like our friendly archers don't really want to try and take out these enemy archers, which is the normal target for friendly archers. See, these javelins have quite a lot shorter range than the previous tiers, mostly because they don't want to encounter enemy artillery again, so we'll pull back. Because they don't have access to hurl, that 35% increased range, that makes quite a big difference to their sort of combat ability, because it's actually a really short range that means you have to get close to enemies. And particularly as units have a bit of a tendency to spread out, particularly when fighting in forest, units get caught in trees. It means that your range circles really aren't that good. Okay, now we're in trouble. Let's try and get as much damage in as we can on these dogs before we end up killing ourselves. Trying to get a bit of hand-to-hand combat going. We'll throw some volleys at them while these guys are trying to fight the dogs. If they can fight the dogs. Come on guys, just kill off the dogs. It's so hard to target dogs because you can't actually click on them very easily. There we go. Come on, why are you walking in? So I mean, it's very easy when you have just one unit touch and makes contact with the enemy. That is it then, they'll go full into combat with them.
We are killing our allies!
You can't fight those dogs at all. And I don't know what else to do with it other than try and run. If they run, they're going to follow me.
Focus your fire!
Friendly elephants kind of running in the way of the allied fire then. Oh, we just got caught on a run there by enemy units. And
make haste! Quick march!
These guys can't escape at all. They're fully trapped by those war dogs. There we go. Yeah, the problem is these guys tend to get spread out, and that kind of affects the range circle. And it's because they've got such short range, is the word. It kind of means that it's very easy for them to sort of get one unit touches the enemy, and then the whole unit gets the combat multiplier, the combat effect, and gets sort of engaged in combat with the enemy units. So it's kind of hard working at this sort of range when the enemy's so close. Obviously there's not very many of us left now, so those premium hoplite like a potentially nice target. Obviously, you've got to be careful not to whip, because if I whip my units are out. At least 2 of my units are out anyway. So let's head back towards these guys over here. Look at them, they've just been rear flanked by some friendly cavalry. Obviously not paying much attention to what's going on.
Make haste!
We haven't got many units left, so our damage potential is kind of greatly reduced. But we should still be able to do a little bit if we can get close. Looks like they're going to get rear flanked again by allied cavalry.
Advance!
Oh, they're now stood in range of our friendly artillery. Fighting the shade is not going to help them against friendly artillery.
We are killing our allies!
Bounce it. Try and get some shots in where we can. A little bit of friendly horses in the way, so let's try not to put too much friendly fire. But they're going to present it back to us like this, and then that gives me a nice target. Seems our mounted warband is pretty determined to get in there for the kill. Try and get some rear shots because they're about to kill off that mounted warband. Shooting them in the rear like this shouldn't cause too many friendly fire casualties. Because it's rear flanking shots. So it's far. And that is pretty much our game. 2,200 aggression. Not too bad. Not a particularly great game with these guys. Particularly that stupid 1 or 2 war dogs we got caught on. Yeah, they're certainly still pretty good units, but they do feel, perhaps, on balance, not quite so strong as the tier 6s on the previous tier. Sort of tier for tier wise, you know, considering that you're now fighting up to tier 8s, whereas before obviously you maxed out at tier 7. So, yeah, they're still good, but perhaps not quite as good, I feel, as the previous tier. I think the most thing I miss is the lack of range, which is now obviously that significantly shorter. It just kind of makes some... I don't know, almost a little bit buggy is kind of the only way I've got to describe it, to be honest. So, yes, that's how I feel about them. But generally, pretty good on the whole stuff. And still a very powerful unit. Obviously, we've also got to take into account that sort of 8%, 9% damage nerf that they receive, which is kind of reducing their potential a little bit as well. So, we've just got a couple of enemy units left on the run. Looks like it's just 1 unit of enemy pikemen, which looks like stood in the enemy base.
Advance!
So we'll slowly make our way down this way, but I don't think we'll... need to get there. I should have thought they'll be there, particularly if war dogs are going to get involved. And they're going to get flanked by the handlers as well.
Quickly now!
We started with war dogs, which obviously got buffed quite long ago as well, so they're a lot stronger now. Got the 4 pikemen and Javelins flanked by the handlers as well. Not going to be enough to get them to rout them, actually. The war dogs should do a pretty reasonable job of tearing them apart. Which they are doing very brutally. Their health is just diminishing away.
Stay with me.
Well, I think they can now probably end up routing. There we go. And that is the end of the game. So hopefully it gives you a bit of an overview of what these Roman Javelins actually play out like. As I say, they're not exactly perfect, but they're not too bad. Hopefully once I start to get them a bit more upgraded, they'll have a bit more body armour, gives them a bit more resistance perhaps to enemy attacks. I mean, or we could take the slightly lighter body armour option, which gives us that slight bit of movement speed as well. And we get the extra shield as well, which gives us more defence and more missile block chance. So we've got quite a few upgrades yet to take, which are going to make a bit of a difference to how these guys play out. So, thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And I shall see you all on the next episode.